Hi, my name is Lacretia, and I'm an LMFT intern with the Latte Wellness Group. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the oppositional defiant disorder diagnosis. When we see this in children that are in the at-risk population, typically served through social services or child protective service cases. So, a lot of times, what we tend to see in children who come from being involved in the system is that they tend to carry with them a diagnosis of something called ODD. ODD is oppositional defiant disorder. And this is a disorder that, according to the DSM, is characterized by anger, outburst, having vindictiveness and vindictive behaviors. Um, you're dealing with raw emotion and a lack of impulse control. So you will have irritability, kids who are kind of on edge, very sensitive, easily triggered. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. So when you're considering children who are involved in the system, these children have been through a lot of different predicaments in their lives. So they can be removed from their homes suddenly and without warning. A lot of times they may be packing up a trash bag, a little trash bag to put their clothing into. To go sleep in a stranger's home, or if a home cannot be found or made available at the time that they're being removed from their homes, then they may have to go to a residential facility where they are, in a group environment with other children who've been in similar situations and predicaments. So we're talking about a collective amount of youths together who may carry and experience some of the same symptoms in terms of that on edge, high irritability, vindictive behaviors, a complete and total lack of trust for authority, and a common resistance or defiance to appreciating and respecting the rules when it comes to authority. And so when we're thinking about this, we want to consider the inability that these children tend to have to really get the opportunity to openly express and process the, trauma that they're experiencing from just being removed from their families, from their homes, from their sense of homeostasis. So when we take these children and we put them in these foreign environments, they may be angry. They may get frustrated. They become distrustful, especially considering that sometimes children have to be moved from place to place to place. So let's say, and a foster home is available for temporary sheltering of a youth who's been removed from the home of their parent and their family. You have to consider a couple of different things. One is the cause behind the removal. So, for example, if there was abuse of any type going on, a child may have experienced this pretty routinely or maybe even consistently. Maybe it just happened once, we don't know. But you have to consider these are the regular things this child may have been exposed to. And even though it was not a safe, environment and they were removed for whatever reasons, and maybe not necessarily abuse, but maybe neglect, maybe they were homeless, maybe their parents were homeless. Different things like that can also contribute to the development of some of these really powerful emotions that these kiddos, these teens, these adolescents are harboring inside and definitely don't have the tools to be able to articulate. And so that is why a lot of times you're going to see kids coming out of the system or kids who are still in the system who are being referred to therapy and counseling services, and they are getting diagnosed with ODD, or they come diagnosed They come into therapy already diagnosed with ODD. So taking a look at the relationship or the correlation here is important for us to be able to see where that comes from. And it comes from that full circle of different areas. The length of time they're going to be removed for their family, why they were removed from their family, and where they end up being placed, how they are treated in that placement, and where they may get moved to if, for example, a foster parent requests them to be removed because they're demonstrating some of the typical symptoms of ODD and they simply can't handle it. ODD can sometimes be a kid, throwing an adolescent throwing kind of what looks like a tantrum. They could get physical, throw a glass or a plate across the room. They might run away. They might elope, So these are some of the different things that could happen. And sometimes when parents aren't adequately informed or prepared for these things, they don't know how to respond. And the reaction can be, we can't have this kid around our other children, or it could be worse. And so then the child may need to be removed and replaced somewhere else. And the children who have, an end goal of being adopted, those children have to wait for someone to see them and look at, these different diagnoses that come along, like ODD, and they may hear that and feel scared or anxious about what that means because these are very real symptoms that can be heavy and can be destructive at times, depending on the kid or the adolescent demonstrating it. They may need to be well prepared in order to take on the challenges that will come with taking in and working with these types of children. So I just want to bring some awareness into helping people understand that even if a child that is involved in social services or in the system does come along with this ODD, diagnosis or is demonstrating these characteristics, there is still hope with patience and validation. I believe in empathy, we can still reach children. Getting them involved in a routine and regular therapy is a great step. Partnering with the therapist and the caseworker, social worker that's involved can help the kid have a space to process and go through some of the challenging emotions that can come from the situations they've been involved in that's caused this disruption to their family. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for talking with me.